Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the fifth episode of the Red Cartel podcast. As always, my name is Will Johnson, joined here today with my mate Leon McDevitt, MC Devitt.
Hello, everyone.
What we're going to do today, we're going to do what we normally do, discuss the weekend's actions, how the talking points, how we thought our teams have done, and then maybe a bit about, seeing as it's coming up to the transfer window closing, maybe discuss some recent transfers that are taking place for our club. So what we're going to do, we're going to get cracking straight away. I'm going to hand over to Leon because we're going to discuss the Liverpool-Brentford game. Liverpool, of course, winning 2-0 at Anfield in Slot's first game at Anfield. So Leon, mate, how did you think the game went?
Well, first and foremost, hello everyone again, and welcome to the fifth episode. So, the Liverpool match. So it's difficult to articulate actually, because after the game, I felt like not what a performance, but I was really happy. I was like, professional, good, we're looking decent. Then I thought back and reflected over the game, and I actually went back and watched the game unemotionally. Second time to see how we actually played, and to be honest with you, really boring for large periods of the game. And when I say boring, I don't mean in a way where I hated it. Like I was like, oh my god, what a boring team. It was more like, I suppose you could deem it control. More.
Yeah, I have to say, Leon, when I was watching I only watched the highlights, but it was a struggle. Outside of the kind of 2 or 3 chances that took place. I think rather, like your wording, it was a lot of control. Liverpool controlled the game very well.
Well, I'm not sure yet because we've only got a small sample size of 2 games of Slot, but that seems to be the biggest difference between Klopp and Slot, is they're very similar in setup, but very different in role assignments. So Trent has a very different role now. Robert has a very different role now. Szoboszlai has a very different role now. Both of our 6'8", Gravenberch and McAllister in this case, were slightly different roles, but they play in really similar positions to what, like if you looked at it on paper, or even when they were just running about a bit, you would think it's a normal 4-3-3 Gegen pressing style, but it isn't. It's much more winger focused and quick from the 6 to our sort of Szoboszlai, which is our sort of like 8-10 player. Much quicker into that, with Trent either overlapping or underlapping, basically sort of like inverted coming into midfield and going through the space. And that sort of happened a lot in the Brentford game. But the problem when I say problem, I mean why it became like controlling or boring, if you want to call it that, is because instead of what we were doing last season, which seemed to be, we haven't got the ball, or, we can't score right now. Well, let's let them have an attack then, like a tennis match. And this time, it's more like, no, we're going to keep the ball. Instead of giving them, even though we can't do anything, let's just pass it around and recycle it a bit. I know that Klopp did that at times, but it's different. It's a very different mantra, a very different way of setting up. But it's not so obtuse to the players that they're like, what is going on? Like, where am I supposed to be? So, yeah, overall, though, really good performance. Mo Salah has never scored in the opening 2 games of the season. So, that's another...
a good omen.
Yeah, it's another thing he's done. Maybe because he's gone for your style of haircut. Do you know what I mean, boss? Maybe he's like aerodynamic now. Maybe he needs to shave his beard off as well and become like the full sort of like cue ball. And like,
mate, his style of haircut is choice, mate. Mine is nature. So, I'd say
for Salah, he might have gone to Turkey. Who knows?
He could have done, mate. He could have done. I have to say, when watching the game, I definitely felt there's a massive. I think there's a massive change of style for Liverpool. It's from, I wouldn't say Klopp was gung ho, but he was all about just marauding forward.
Yeah.
Feel you a bit more control. I was actually watching, I can't remember whether it's a Diaz chance where he shot across from the right-hand side. It might have been Salah or Diaz, right-hand side, and it just went past the post. And it was almost like Arsene Wenger-esque. There were so many passes to build up to find that space and to go. Whereas I think Klopp would have just been get it out wide, get the fullbacks marauding forward, and get it to Salah. It was a 30-second minute goal rather than Klopp's 5 seconds.
Yeah. So that is one of the big differences in the style, is that retaining or recapturing the ball were like synonymous with each other under Klopp. So it'd be like retaining the ball was basically winning the ball at high up and then going forward and using our 6 as a sort of shield alongside our 2 centre-backs to like push them in, pen everyone in, and then try and do that. And then essentially you could try and win the ball back high. The problem you have with that style of play, obviously we won the league and stuff of it and did really well and won the Champions League and stuff, but what you need to be able to do is be a hammer and a nail. So when you're the nail, you need to be really tough, really hard to hammer in and hard to hit almost. But then when you're the hammer, you need to be strong, forceful, and smack it. So in terms of football, that means take your chances, be very concise with what you're doing, understand that you're going to have periods of the game where you're going to be struggling, and manage those situations better. And what I've seen from Slot so far is he is better, or maybe not better, because I don't know if Klopp ever just did that to know whether he's good at it or not. That's his style. More keep the ball. It's more Man City-esque, and like Arsenal do now, more possession-based football, which Klopp wasn't necessarily a possession-based manager. Not really.
Yeah. Klopp, I think Klopp, like, looking from the outside, I've always felt like Klopp was happy to concede, 2 or 3 good chances if it meant that he could have another 5 good chances the other side. Whereas Slot doesn't look like. I was looking at the XG, and Brentford had 0.35 XG. That kind of showed the level of control that Liverpool produced on them.
Yeah, they're not bad either, Brentford. Like, I'd say that it was a game that could have been tricky, and it wasn't tricky. And that's the first time I've ever seen us play a Brentford-style team, without meaning to insult them, that we controlled it. Like, normally, if we're playing Burnley under Klopp, we might win 7-0 in 15 minutes. It'd be like, blitz. Klopp won't do that. I don't. Well, it might happen, but I don't think he will do that. We'll just beat Burnley 3-0, and they'll never have a chance. Really, they'll have a few chances, like set pieces and stuff. And when you look back at the game, it'd be like, that was boring, but we won 3-0. And you're like, how can 3-0 be boring? And it's like, because there's that moment, like you discussed, where Salah basically did like 1-2s with everyone in our team, and then didn't get the goal. And it probably would have been like one of the best Liverpool goals I'd ever seen because of the intricate passing. But Klopp did do that, but in a different way. Because if you remember, there was that goal against Newcastle that was like a FIFA goal where everybody went nuts, where Mane passed to Salah passed it to Firmino. Firmino did a double flick round the corner against Newcastle, and Salah was the third man running in and then dinked the goalie, and it was like, oh, what a goal that is. We didn't do that every week, and I think Slot might start to creep in more and more, I think.
Yeah, it's a different style of play, but like Klopp always said, he was heavy metal, right? And it was all about that kind of fast attacking play, where I think Slot's more of the build up now.
I think so. That's what I think too.
Yeah. But so 2-0, 2 very good goals. I don't understand what Brentford were doing on the first goal. That they were going gun ho, not really keeping an eye on back, but. What an amazing break! And was it Jota and Diaz breaking, and then Diaz getting a good goal on the breakaway?
It was Salah who got fouled because he nicked the ball ahead of the Brentford man, and then it was 2-on-2 because of that. Like, no, I've listened to a lot of podcasts and read a lot of media and things like that about Liverpool. No one seems to mention that. Everyone's like, oh, Salah's a different style of player now. He's not as fast as he used to be. He's getting more assists. He's doing this. I'm like, yeah, but the one thing that he hasn't ever lost is his, like, he does that often, Salah, and it's a bit of his game that nobody ever talks about. He's really committed to things like that. Really committed. Exactly what you want. Salah is, I mean, he's not my favourite Liverpool player ever or anything like that, but he is unbelievable in almost every aspect of the game. It's like, he's ridiculous. It's just a cheat code having him for your team. And he wasn't, obviously, before we got him. And then he just became like, he's not quite Haaland levels of cheat code, but he's very good. And yeah, he nicked the ball, and then Jota to Diaz, and quality pass, and a great finish from Diaz, yeah. Which isn't normal for Diaz, to be honest.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, one of the things that stood out to me, Diaz, we talk about the second goal as well. Diaz got the assist for Salah. Again, a good goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good goal. Quality finish as well.
Quality finish. One of my thoughts were when I was watching the highlights, I was thinking, how important is Diaz going to be to your season?
It's an interesting question, because he's, in some ways, he's as important as the other two that are playing, right? But then, is he as important as Mo Salah? Maybe, on the other side sort of thing. So why Diaz is important to us, before I answer how important he is because he carries the ball really well. He likes to dribble. He's actually, like, if you compare him to, say, Cody Gakpo, who plays, and I also, just at this point, I don't know whether it's Gakpo or Hakpo, because Ruud Gullit isn't Gullit. But anyway, I don't know what the answer to that is. I just don't hear anyone really calling him Hakpo. But he's more of a, like a wide forward that's like a striker. So that, like, Saka to me is a wide forward, but he's more of a winger that scores loads of goals. Salah is more of a striker who plays on the right. And kind of, like, if you see what I mean. And Gakpo is a striker who plays on the left.
Diaz?
No, Gakpo. And Diaz is a winger.
Okay,
He's a winger. So he likes to run, he likes to get assists, he likes to cross the ball, and he likes to arrive in those positions. He also likes to cut in. So that's why he's important. And how important is he going to be? Probably, to be honest with you, I think he would be the difference between why we maybe, like, won the league or didn't. His numbers. Because if Jota stays fit, he'll score 15 to 20 Premier League goals. If Salah is fit, he'll score 20. And if Diaz is fit, he needs to be scoring 15. And at the moment, I'm unconvinced. I don't think he's far away. He could be like 12, but he needs to improve his numbers. That's basically, so if he is good, with the lower amount of goals I think we're going to concede, the more control we're going to have, he's going to be vitally important, because goals are going to be really important, as they always are.
Yeah, I think he's going to be one of the most important cogs in that attack for Liverpool. Obviously, Salah is a given, right? Yeah. But next up for me, I think if Diaz performs, then Liverpool have got a real chance of being in a title race.
Doing something, yeah, whether it be Champions League or whether it be Premier League, like doing something that isn't nothing, basically. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I disagree with that. Jota's going to score 15, 20 goals. I'll be very surprised if he does that. One, because he never stays injury free all season.
No,
Second,
I can't be 100%. I think he scored 15 Premier League goals in the last 2 seasons.
Well, there you go. That shows my knowledge of Liverpool players then. But, yeah.
25 games, like including sub appearances and stuff like that. I think he's actually got, I should have checked this before saying it, but I'm pretty sure minutes per goal, he's by far our best performer.
Okay, well we'll have a check on that. I'll whack on our Jota's past couple of seasons on the pod, and then we can all see how little I know about Liverpool.
Or how little I know as the Liverpool fan.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of this pod, mate. We know nothing about football. We just love chatting about it. So that's our.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That is it. But yeah, all in all, good game, as in good result. Haven't conceded yet this season. Happy with that.
Yeah, not much, not real many talking points from the game. I said the only real talking point is that obviously that the media picked up on and Slot was asked about was the apparent Trent beef. I don't
Yeah.
know if you want to expand on that.
Well, so Trent put a really strange like Instagram thing afterwards. Now I'm not the man who frequents Instagram all the time, right? But
Yeah,
what I will say is he put I can't remember what it said. It's like something like I'm going to ruin this and paraphrase it wrong, but it's something like good match. Nothing. If you read it, you would have thought that Trent didn't even play, and he watched the match and was having a cup of tea. So like genuinely, but his face was sour. He was proper sour when he was on the bench, and I want him to be like that though. That's what I want.
yeah. You want a player like Trent to want to play the whole game, right?
Yeah, and Salah used to do it. Salah has paddies all the time when he comes off. Last season he did it against Burnley, I think, and it's like
Yeah,
everyone's talking about that. Yeah, good. I hope every player gets fuming and doesn't want to come off. But like a boxer doesn't know that it's time to stop fighting, so the towel comes in. It's the manager's job, as it is the cornerman's job, to protect the player from himself because he thinks,
yeah.
oh,
Good
as
point.
much well, this is your second game back after playing at the beginning of the Euros and then training all through the Euros and then coming back. He's got to be managed, so he needs to understand that. Like, and also, no one player is bigger than the club. I love Trent to bits, but if he's going to be like all stubborn and weird about it and start I don't know. He hasn't done any of this, but if he starts making it a big deal, and like maybe he wants to go to Real Madrid, and he makes it a thing like that, then good, go. See you later. Bye. Sell him. Get rid of him then. Simple
Yeah,
as that. Not bigger than the club. We'll have Conor Bradley. I love Trent, and I don't think he is like that. And I don't think I think more has been made of it because it's Arne Slot is new. Let's drama the situation, of course, as everyone should. But I don't think there's a lot. I don't think there's a lot in it. Personally, I don't.
yeah. I think agree. I think there are a couple of reasons why it got picked up. One, it was a bit of a like there wasn't massive things happening in the game. It was just a
Right.
routine 2-0.
Yeah.
And secondly, Trent's contract's up for it ends the end of this season. Like he can in January, he can start chatting to teams. So you know what the media are like. They love to stir the pot, right? And so I guess that's probably what.
Yeah, I imagine so. And like you say, there's the chance that Trent could leave on a free. I mean, if that happens, then FSG. I mean, I can't really use the word on here, but they have messed up big.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I would liken it to Ashley Cole going. I know Cole didn't go on a free, but he was our boy. He was the best in his position, and left us because we couldn't sort out a contract for him. So it's kind of think it'd be a bit like that.
it's 100%. Like, I didn't even think about that, and it's 100% exactly the same as that. He's the best in his position by far. There's no one like he. Ashley
That's
Cole.
controversial.
So, how many assists? What's the record for one season assists, boss? And who set it? At what age? Because it's Trent.
For a right back, not
Like
Thierry.
any defender whatsoever, left back, right back, centre
Oh yeah,
backs,
the defender. Yeah, defender. Yeah.
wing back, and wingers.
Yeah, no denying, mate. He's an obscenely good
So,
striker of the ball.
in the same breath, Cole was the best left back in the world at that point, and Trent is the best right back in the world. It's just that's it.
Yeah.
And you let that go, then you're an idiot. Like it's like Arsenal at the time. No, because was it back when we were at university when he left?
When I've tried to like
Yeah,
put the heartbreak deep inside me. I can't remember, but yeah, it was it was just before. It was when Chelsea just got in, so it must have been 2004, 2005, something like that. He
yeah,
wasn't. He wasn't I think he was an invincible, so it must have been after that.
yeah.
Must be 2007, maybe.
Yeah, that's in my mind. But also 2000. Yeah, because when were you invincible? Was it 2005, 2006, or 2006, 2007?
Free fall.
All right then. Well then, yeah, he left 2006, something like that, I reckon.
Well, I
So
think he was in. I think he played Champions League final for us.
yeah,
Again, if he didn't, I'm cutting it out.
no, I think he did, and then he left. I think you're right. I
Yeah,
think that's exactly what happened, which made it even more bizarre.
yeah, yeah. Sad times. I don't want to think about that anymore because Arsenal are past losing
Well,
our best.
same age as well, roughly, Trent and Cole, like if this was to happen and things like that. And I remember way back when, and I don't know if anybody else is as old as us remembers, I remember what it felt like when Steve McManaman left to Real Madrid on a free transfer. I didn't like it then. I won't like it.
Stevie Mac, mate. Stevie Mac. I was going to ask, mate. Do you reckon if he did leave and say he left for Man City, do you reckon he'd be hated by the Liverpool fans like the Arsenal fans hated Cole through that period?
If he went to Man City,
Went
yeah,
to Man City, Man United, Arsenal.
can't go to Man United.
No, but you know what? He went to one of your main direct rivals. Do you reckon he'd be hated by the Liverpool fans?
I think less so. Fun enough, if we went to you, I think less so out of all of those teams you've just mentioned. Real Madrid, the least of all of them. Obviously, we wouldn't hate him because it is what it is. We'd maybe hate the club a bit for a little bit or be angry at the club. But if he went to Arsenal, yeah, it would be. Well, from a bias standpoint, I imagine the fan base would think you've gone to a club that is like on the up, but similar to us on the up. Why have you
Yeah,
done that? And then it would be like Cashley Cole. We would be like, it's money then.
yeah, really. I mean, yeah.
It's
Again,
got
yeah.
because there's also then if he went, it's impossible. He can't go to Man United. It's impossible. And it's impossible. It'll never happen. It's just impossible. I can't live in a world where that happens. Insane.
It'd be triggering, mate. It'd be triggering. It'd be like, it'd be like that.
It'd be worse. It'd be so bad. If Trent went to Man United, it'd be like anarchy. It'd be like imagine what a Liverpool Man United. It's impossible. Like football's not allowed for that to happen because I think hooliganism would come back in a big way.
It would essentially be like the big soul coming to Arsenal.
Yeah, except for Spurs are nowhere near as good as Man United. Wow,
No, but the rivalry, the pure rivalry.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, from a rivalry like feral perspective, yeah, it'd be like that. It'd be like you can't do that. But the difference is that in this case, it would be like an Arsenal player going to Tottenham rather than a top because it's not the crap club going to the big club. It's the big club going to the shit club.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, Man United are like going to finish 8th, 9th this season. Like so. Anyway, so if he goes to Real Madrid, I'll be devastated. If he went to Man City, I'm not supporting football anymore. That's it. Done.
Yeah, give it up. You're just giving up football.
I'm out. What's the point? If our player who's born in the stadium, in the centre circle, and has rose up through the club and is like, I'm the boy, I'm the kid, and we can't keep him, and Man City can just come in and just be like, do you know what? FFP doesn't exist. Let's just have him. 600 million a week. You're like, mate, then I'm done. Just done. All I'm going to do is just, I don't even know. I'm going to live in Dubai, see if I can become a Man City fan.
Well, boss, for your own sanity, I hope Trent signs because I feel it would be too painful. But for pure jokes, I'm hoping he signs for Man City or even better, Man United, and see the meltdown of the fans.
Can't have that. It's insane. you just can't. It's just like I can't live in that world. It's mad. Like I'd rather him sign for you.
I wouldn't, mate. Benny White, mate, is my boy, so I wouldn't want anyone else apart from him.
No, I can understand why you wouldn't want Trent. Like you don't want him to go because then Ben White doesn't play, does he?
Nah. And also, you know, I always have this thing, Leon, where I think any kind of like top player can just play in like Ben White could come to you and he would be as good. Trent would come. That's I always think that, but I think it's
not wrong.
It's yeah. But let's.
He would be the same level. Like I know what you're saying. Any professional player can go and play for another professional club, and they'd probably be better. Like if Saka was playing for Man City, he'd get 50 goals a season. Like, yeah, sure.
Well, no, like, I mean more like if you swapped Robertson
Yeah, Robertson.
and Andy with Tyreek Mitchell,
Hmm.
that Robinson would produce the same as what Tyreek Mitchell was producing at Palace, and Tyreek Mitchell would produce similar to what Robinson, because you're in that wider, you're getting better coaching, you're
Yeah,
getting everything like that. So like
I
you're a
do.
better team.
But that's only when they're not a generational talent. Trent can do things that Ben White can't do. Trent can do things that
Yeah.
other defenders can't do. Only
I
the
still, I don't know. Like, maybe because I'm not in watching him every week, I still don't understand. I don't understand the hype around Trent
I
as a
suppose.
defender. If Trent was a old school right midfielder, or even if he was your winger, I could understand the hype around it. If you were playing traditional right winger, right footed, because the balls that he can play are obscene.
So if his metrics were within 5% of Ben White's defensive metrics and he did all the stuff moving forward, you would concede that Trent is a much better player, yeah?
Oh, it depends whether you show me the metrics that prove that. Because, but then even if you do, mate,
So the truth doesn't matter. What
it
matters?
doesn't matter, but that's football, mate. The truth does not matter. That's why you have Tottenham fans say that they have the best two centre backs, the best keeper, the best striker, the best wingers. The
I
truth doesn't matter to them.
no, but
It doesn't matter to me.
what I mean is if the eye test fails, just the basic eye test fails. So if you look at Ben White's games and Trent's games, or any other right back in world football and Trent does a lot of things different to them, not the same. And so any of those other right backs can't just come to Liverpool and play the same as him. There are a few that can. Joshua Kimmich is probably one, but he's probably not quite as good. Not quite as good at crossing, but he's more of a goal threat. And he's not quite as good at crossing, but he's probably better at defending. Like that
Yeah.
sort of thing. So I don't know every right back in the world, unfortunately.
I think what you're getting at, I think Trent is very unique as a right back.
That's what I mean,
Like,
for
you
sure.
wouldn't, you find 10 random right backs at top clubs, don't think they have the same qualities as Trent,
No, they don't.
right? And that's where my point was, that I just don't understand why Trent is not that, like, either of you playing that traditional 4-4-2, which not many people do, but or you're playing a right-sided winger that you want to be right-footed. That's where I think Trent would be amazing. I think when you ask him to be a disciplined right back, he can't quite do it.
For sure, yeah, for sure. I mean, it would be mental in my, like, at least from my fandom. It'd be mental to ask a player like Trent to play as a traditional right back. It would be like having the prize stud at the fair and cutting his bollocks off and being like, "Don't worry about him. We don't want him to reproduce ever. There's no point actually using his." It's like, we'll use his strengths. Don't put him. Do you know what I mean? Like, why have this isn't a blast from the past? Why have Matt Letizia as your six?
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. I get it, but why have your very creative player that's amazing at playing a ball as your right back?
Maybe because he plays there.
But that was my point. Like,
Yeah,
maybe like if I would, but I think maybe I just don't get the whole Trent fandom of he's amazing. But then because I have my Arsenal glasses on, and I just think, yeah, I don't see it all the time. We end in this segment and jump out for a break. And after the break, we'll be discussing Arsenal Villa. Give me kind of a couple of minutes, boss, on how Liverpool's transfer window has turned out. I've just seen that it's been confirmed by Sky Sports News that Chiesa has signed initial £10 million. That seems like a bargain.
so as in like breaking news, he's just signed now.
Yeah, agree a deal worth 10 million. That was half an hour ago.
Incredible, yeah. I mean, we were talking about it before the pod that like because I couldn't find anywhere how much it was for, which obviously was my ineptitude at trying to find things. But when you told me, you were like, yes, 13 million. I thought you said 30, right? And so when I said 13, because players don't, Championship players and League One players go for 13 million quid.
Yeah.
And we're
I
buying
know.
Chiesa, who plays for Italy and is probably, I mean, although they did terribly at the Euros, he's probably one of their better players. He's also, at least for a little while, he was quite good until he had his ACL injury. People were like, "Oh, this is the man who's on the up and up," and then it became, "Oh, he's gonna maybe that injury." I think he was out for about 9 months, and so it was like he basically missed the whole season. And then ever since then, I think he's only missed 2 weeks of football. He's in the 97th percentile for dribbling past players and ball carries in Europe. In Europe's top 6 leagues. So I think he's incredible for that money, and it's basically a shot to nothing. I would have absolutely cussed FSG down if we'd not bought anyone, especially Mo Salah backup, because he's older now, isn't he? And we can't be playing Mo Salah, and you can't have Harvey Elliott as a right winger because he's slow. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I see Harvey Elliott as more of that central player rather than a...
Definitely. That's what he is. And he's like... Can you imagine if, there was an English midfield that existed? I'm not saying that you would be, maybe there'd be better 10s than this, but, imagine how good Wiltshire and, Harvey Elliott would have played, because they're just like these little midgets that are like Spanish tiki-taka players. They'd have been insane to play together. They would have never won a header, ever.
Never won a header. It's a bold statement to put Elliott's potential in the same bracket as what Wilshire's potential was. But yeah, we'll go with it.
I think he's got the same potential, but I think he'll actualise a lot more than Jack Wilshere did.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean that's one of the saddest stories of recent Arsenal history is Wilshere, that and Diaby. But
I agree. So what an amazing signing! Basically, as I'm just finding out about it live, that we actually agreed a deal. That's insane. That's an amazing deal. The only time it's equalised my disappointment for not getting Calafiori.
Yeah, I mean it's a crazy number, really. An Italian international playing for Juve, going for 10 million, initial 10 million. I don't know whether there's some add-ons on there that's going to make the difference, but it's a shot to nothing, right?
Honestly, I actually can't believe it. That I haven't heard somebody say someone's signing somebody for around 10 million for about 10 years.
Yeah, well, unless they're going to play in their youth side.
Or they're 400 years old and you need someone like Casemiro to come in. I don't know how much they sign.
60 million.
Wow.
But that's United, mate. They have no sense, mate. They're like the rich kid, right? They're the rich kid that has no concept of value of money. So.
And I'll put it to you in this, because I like taking the mickey out of Man United, but who would you rather have at Arsenal? Chiesa or Rashford? And you might say Rashford, but I don't know. Who would you rather?
I quite like Rashford, but yeah, Chiesa. For the value, you've got to be saying. And what is he? Is he right? Is he left?
He plays right wing, left wing, second striker, false 9.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be... I mean, I would have quite liked him at Arsenal, mate. I mean, we were talking last pod about we need something to do it. Yeah, 2.5 million in add-ons on top of the 10.
That's so ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous. That's daylight robbery. How can we even have done that?
That's confirmed by Ornstein as well, so it is true.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, what a deal. I hope we still sign... We still need a couple other players, but that's now changed my opinion of what the FSG strategy is, because a lot of fans have been saying, so I won't go too much into this, but a lot of fans have been saying a particular podcast is right in the pocket of FSG and they will not criticise them, and they have been quite lenient on them. And it's obvious from when you weren't lenient to all of a sudden getting lots of club access and lots of things, and then not as harsh. They still criticise them, but they're just not as harsh. And I understand why. But because if FSG said that they would sponsor us and give us access to players and managers, and for this podcast, me and you would, I would stop criticising FSG probably so much. But what I mean is their policy has always been, if the player is there and we want him, we will go and get him. We might miss out on a few, but we will go and get him.
Yeah.
And this demonstrates again with the Zubamendi deal and this, they're both the same. We wanted him, we couldn't get him, we're not going knee-jerk reaction. We want him, we get him, good deal, got him. So I like that. I do like that.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. Good positive note to finish the Liverpool section on, mate. So yeah, what we do, we'll have a quick break and we'll be right back in to discuss Arsenal versus Aston Villa. So see you in a bit, guys.
See.